my fact, as always, today is one of the most important days of my life. It is the day that 14 years ago my daughter came into this world. And for the sake of having this morning edition that we agreed to do, I wanted to make sure I came up and I wanted to make sure that there was a cyberspace log verifying that I'm telling my daughter happy birthday, I love her to death, and that today I'm going to make a very special day for her in whatever regards that I can. With that being said, it's also the last day of the year. Now, 2022 for some people has been an awakening from what it was previously, coming out of what we knew as the COVID era. For some of us, it's very bittersweet, maybe a continuation of the COVID era stuff. And we don't really necessarily know from head to tails what the next year is supposed to hold. However, one thing that I do want to say is that I'm encouraging everybody that normally takes their time to start doing New Year's resolutions, maybe hold off on that. Hold off on the concept of New Year's resolutions this go around. Reason why I'm saying this is because of the fact that the last couple of years, hold on one second. Sorry, the fish tank in the background was killing me. So, one reason why I'm saying hold off on New Year's resolutions is because of the fact that unfortunately I noticed a trend, and it's something that I just kind of want to share about myself that I'm hoping will help somebody else see things a little bit different. You see, one thing I like to always reference is when I used to smoke cigarettes. One of the things about my smoking cigarettes is the fact that I always gave myself a reason or a timestamp on when I was going to quit, what conditions I was going to quit under. And ultimately, what would end up happening is that I would just continuously prolong the process because you're putting yourself in a situation where you're not actually trying to do it, but you're trying to convince yourself that you're going to do it at some point in time, knowing good and well you really don't have the intent to do that. So when I finally got serious about it, it was a momentary thing. It wasn't some grandiose breakthrough. Instead, what it was I made an instant decision and I just walked the walk that it required for me to get the result that I was looking for. In walking that walk and trying to achieve that result, I've been 13 years without one. I'm saying all of that to say this. It's not about the new year. It's not about what's going on today, what's going on tomorrow, what's going on in cyberspace. Not what the trend is. When it comes down to you and decision making, it's up to you. It happens in real time. Whether today is your day, tomorrow, 15 days from now, whatever have you, it first starts with an instantaneous decision to say that right now in real time, the habits are broken, the chains are broken. I officially am moving forward from that thing that I used to do or that thing that I felt like had so much control over me. You have to make the decision in real time and you have to walk the walk. Each thing that you did that was associated with the negative habits, you have to break the cycle of those things piece by piece and you have to break them in real time. When it comes down to cutting off negativity out of your life, well, when those negative things happen, when those negative triggers come, you have to deal with those things in real time. And that's how you know when you're truly done with something. Bad relationships, monogamous business, whatever the circumstances may be, when those phone calls come in, when the drama is being said to you, when things are being expressed to you, at that time is when you know for sure if you're really done or not. Why? Because you get the impulse to do something different. Your spirit is telling you to do something different, but you also act on those impulses to do something different than what you normally would do. Now, I'm not a guru, not a life coach, I'm not anybody under the sun. I'm just a person who has quite a bit of life experience. And in sharing that life experience, what my goal always is to do is to try to use a little bit of what my own experiences are to try to give those back. And hopefully, there's somebody out there that is listening that hears these things that are going on and they're able to receive these things and say, you know what, I can try that, implement that into my own life and see how it'll work. So, for instance, on a day like today, it's my daughter's birthday. It's the last day of the year. You know, it's like for somebody, the turn up is real for whatever the circumstances may be. But today, I told myself that no matter what the circumstances were, I was going to get up on this screen because I promised that every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time that I would be available to shoot, to record, to deliver a message, to have a conversation with people, and to laugh and to enjoy life. And I'm going to stick to my word no matter what the circumstances are. Now, with that being said, that took years to get to a point to where I did not allow the excuse around me to dictate what my decisions were going to be. Instead, I have to be the influence. I have to understand, and this was predicated on the last episode that we did, is that sometimes you have to understand when you are the energy. And the energy that you put forth will determine a lot about the people that surround you. It will set the tone for what the standard is to be in your life. To be in your life should come with a set of standards. It should come with some rules. It should come with the understanding that this is the path that I'm walking, and anybody that's walking in this path, these are the requirements. So if you're somebody who is extremely business minded, somebody that's extremely money minded, somebody that's always thinking, how can I build things, especially if you're somebody that's like a community builder, how can I build things with my friends? How can I start creating things that are going to enrich other people's lives? You have to understand that your decisions or your success is not predicated on what other people do. Whether you move or whether you don't move is not predicated on what other people do. It's predicated off of what you do. And when you know that you have an energy and you have a light inside of you, you have to walk toward it. And you have to walk toward it in an instantaneous way. Right now. Right now. Not tomorrow, not later on the day, not when I get 5 people to like and subscribe, but today is the day that whatever it is that you plan on doing, you have to start walking the walk and getting that focus in order. So now, what is the purpose? A lot of us don't understand that purpose is predicated off of decision. When you make a decision to say today is the day that I'm going to be very much serious about something that I want to do, that's when it starts. Your purpose is determined and carved out in the journey the day that you say that I'm going to do something. I'm going to set up whatever. I'm going to start my own business. I'm going to start my own firm or whatever have you. Whatever, insert situation here. You have to realize that at some point in time, you have to find out what your capabilities are. Your capabilities are only predicated off of what you do or what you don't do. Your opportunities. And many people have heard this statement, you reap what you sow. So if you don't put anything into the ground, if you don't put anything into the atmosphere, if you don't feed anything out, you can't receive anything back. It's just the natural law of reciprocity. And anybody who knows me, this is one thing that I've been preaching for the last years: reciprocity. We have to put something out to get something back. It is such a necessary thing for us. We don't always know, we don't always understand, and we don't always see who we're influencing. We don't always see who we're putting stuff into. We don't always know who's noticing us. Well, guess what? If you're not doing anything, there's nobody that is still going to notice you. You have to put yourself out there in order to receive something back. Actually, we put something out there. We're about to receive something back right now. King, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Saturday, sir. Can you hear me?
Rise and shine.
Oh yeah. All right, now we got a party. So, King, so far we have pretty much been having a conversation about the concept of New Year's resolution. So what happens is that when I got up and I got started, and it's like I just had something on me that said, you know what? It's my daughter's birthday. It's New Year's Day, I mean New Year's Eve. There's every reason in the world to why I should be doing something else other than sitting on this live right now. I have every excuse not to. And that's every reason why I should be. That is not a New Year's anything. It's a new day, a new time, a new second. The moment that you make a decision that I'm going to do something different, that when I make the decision to be consistent in whatever my goals are, at that moment is when the energy starts to produce. And when I start walking in the path of whatever is for me. What are your thoughts on that comment?
Absolutely, just like this podcast, uh we decided that, what I'm saying, we were gonna, really push this thing and try to build something here. And regardless of how tired we are, regardless of whatever outside, things that we have going on in our life, that we're going to push and see this thing through. Uh and I think that, just that alone is important, because I think that what's that gonna show people and show everybody that, in order for you to have success and be successful, that you have to put in the work in order to get the results that you're looking for. uh yeah, you just got to be dedicated and push yourself to get the outcome that you're looking for.
One of the things that I find to be the most motivating is the fact that there's no better time, in my opinion, than you got to understand is like right now, it's the last day of 2022. When we wake up when you go to sleep and wake up this whole entire year. And no matter how this year has been, if it's been a good year, a bad year, an extension of COVID, bittersweet, you've lost people, you've gained people, whatever the circumstances have been, we all have had some level of experience in this year. And in doing so, we've had to learn to adjust to a new normal. And in learning how to adjust to that new normal, either we rise to the occasion or either we rose to the occasion throughout this year, or we've allowed this year to dictate to us. We allowed what was in the media, we allowed what was going on externally to determine what we were, who we were, why we were. And that's one of the things that I told myself, you know what, at no point in time am I ever going to allow the outside energy to determine who I am. Not again. Not anymore. I can
you
make every excuse.
you know what, last night I came across this video, and I think my cousin might have sent it to me. But anyway, the video was, this guy had owned a hot dog stand, and his son had left and went to Harvard. And then while his son was in school, the guy was still working the stand. Then he had two stands. Then he had three stands. Then he had four stands. Then he had 30 stands. His son comes home from school. So his son is like, Dad, you don't know? We're in a recession. You need to change out, the type of hot dogs, and do this and do that. And by the time all that was done, he was down to one hot dog stand. And he goes, you know what? We are in a recession. And the point of the story and the moral of the story is that recession isn't for everybody. Like, recession is a mental state. It's a mindset that, you know other people, just because the country is going through something, or a particular individual is going through something or whatever, that doesn't mean that you are. And don't let other people, outside influences, change, or start pushing you in a different direction because they got something going on, or for the sake of the conversation, that in their world they're in a recession. That doesn't mean that you are.
A very interesting thing that you're saying with that, and just to kind of, as the statement goes, throw some sauce on those ribs. One of those things that I truly believe in my heart of hearts is the fact that the mindset that you adopt, it kind of goes back to that Henry Ford quote that whether you believe it or you don't, whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, either way that you're right. One of the things that I look at that I've really come to grips with and come to terms with in my life is the fact that no matter how you slice the bread, either you're going to or you're not going to. And that's just the bottom line. It's like how you and I have spoken as of recently. And one of the things that we've spoken about was the fact that, oh, it's this great idea. Here's this great idea. Here's this great idea. And it's like, okay, cool. However, I'm right here at the nucleus and I'm going to focus on this thing
Mm-hmm.
because all these ideas, when they come, they're great, but they're not. This isn't the time. The time is you have to get the nucleus intact so that the energy can start, and then these things can start building off of. It's like it takes a centralized focus to look at the very thing that you are trying to do and make sure that that thing is intact. And then once you do it, then you can create all the satellites and all the branches that you want off of it once you know the central core energy source is in place. And I think that that's a lot of how our lives work is the fact that when you look at recession, the whole concept of recession, I like playing with real words. Let's play with some real words. Can you read that comment that's up there? I think that's a very interesting comment.
Hi, I want to offer promotion of your channel, viewers, followers, views, and chatbots. The price is lower than any competitor. The quality is guaranteed to be the best. Auto on, incredibly flexible and convenient order management panel. Everything is in your hands. Turn it on, off, and customize. Go to dogehype.com.
First and foremost, you know that you officially own when you're getting spammed during a live. We getting spammed during a live
Spam
show
on a Saturday.
on New Year's Eve. Oh yeah, we on our way, baby. We on our way. First and foremost, I don't know who you are, uninteresting post, but thank you for that. Thank you for posting that. You are great for what you've done because of the fact that you're just great. We love you, baby. We love you. Now, let's go ahead and share this word recession. I like that word. It's a good word, don't you think?
It's a fantastic word.
Fantastic word for somebody somewhere. That is
For
a
for for some people, recession is a pitfall. For other people, recession is get rich.
so.
It just depends on how you look at it.
So let's look at the definition. It says a period of temporary economic decline during which trade and industrial activity are reduced and generally identified by a fall in GDP in two successive quarters. So, what do we know about a recession? Two things we know about a recession. What are those two things?
Well, one was just mentioned with GDP. The other thing is layoffs, slow up of money. I mean, just surface level that.
Two words: wealth transfer.
Oh yes, yes.
Because what happens in a recession? People sell off stocks like crazy. People jump out of everything. They start seeing a little bit of decline. Whereas the Warren Buffetts and the Charlie Mungers of the world, they see this as an opportunity to buy cheap.
America
It's
goes on sale.
yeah. So basically, what happens is the fact that it's like I get to buy the next 20 years on clearance.
Yep.
That's what a recession is. So when we start thinking about this recession mindset, a lot of times it's like, okay, well, if the father who had the hot dog stand or the brother with the hot dog stand, in the analogy that you gave, looked at it along the lines of, oh, that means that now I can get hot dog stands at a reduced rate. Let me go buy more hot dog stands. So once the economy starts to boom, now instead of me having 5 hot dog stands, I can have 20 hot dog stands out there.
Yep.
So really, it's just all a juxtaposition of thought process that you start looking at things as either it is a hindrance or it's an opportunity, and that's all predicated off of how you think. So tying that into the conversation that we're having today is the fact that with this whole new year, new me, new this, new that, it should be new moment, new opportunity, new day. Everything different starts in real time. When I look at my life and I look at the amount of excuses, if I had $1 for every excuse that I made, if I had $1 for every opportunity I didn't take, you know, life isn't always just about money. Some opportunities to mend relationships, some opportunities to sever relationships that should have been gone a long time ago. Funny thing is that the original topic that we had for today, and for those who don't know, I'm so old school with it. Whenever I have ideas, I keep a stack of these with me at all times for a very specific reason. Technology is great, but technology isn't perfect. This old school technology, it's never failed. Pen and
That
paper has
is that
never
is that
failed.
is tried, tested, and proven technology.
So
It'll
what
never fail.
so what our original concept that we were going to go over today was is how many times I should have said no instead of trying to help. This thought process that we're in, I think, is a perfect segue into what it is that we're talking about here. When you say things like that, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? How many
Uh,
how many times?
as far as like what? Oh, I can't afford it, or I can't do that, or something
How
like
many
that.
times should you have said no instead of extending yourself?
Mm, don't say no enough.
The funny thing about it is that people who are opportunity people, they have a tendency to say yes a lot.
Yeah.
Remember, we were having a conversation last night about the different millionaires and billionaires, how some were hustlers that created a tried and true system, and some got lucky a lot. Some people are regarded as geniuses because they got lucky more than once. But then as time starts to unveil, their genius starts to unravel. And what we thought was just like, man, it's just the greatest business acumen mankind had ever produced is just really somebody who rolled the dice one too many times.
Right.
Sometimes that's how we are in real life. We roll the dice one too many times when it comes down to trusting people, when it comes down to giving to people, when it comes down to doing things for people. And I'd say this also ties into a new day's resolution as well. This is that time to where you have to get to a place to where you are allowing yourself to not, one moment, apologize. The tablet started deciding it wanted to have a conversation with me. But no, I mean, I think that we are at a place in the time to where we have to really start understanding the resource that time is. That time itself is currency. So if you're so freely giving away that currency, then it's like, what real value does it have? What is the vetting process for your time? Are you exclusive with your time? Or does anybody have access to it just by asking? For me, I mean, I was in a position where everybody gets an opportunity if you ask. Now I'm in a position to where I don't have the time to take you on because I'm building.
Why is that? So let's actually delve into that. Let's talk about that. Why do people feel the need to have to say yes? Why does everybody, or why do you think that everybody should have access to you? Why do you think that's okay?
What I feel more so than anything is that I have, and again, I can't speak for people, I'll speak for myself. What happens is that when you have spent so much of your life on the lower rungs of society, you have a tendency to feel that with everything that you do, you get an excitement about achieving another level, about achieving another goal. And you want to share with everybody under the sun, primarily because of the fact it's like, wow, I did it. I did something. Hey guys, I did it. You can do it too. Hey, I went to school. I finished. Oh, hey man, I found this grant money. I found this opportunity. I didn't know that these things, because so much of my life I was convinced and believed that the information was locked away. When really and truly, the information was sitting right there the whole time. And because it was so easy to access, it's just like, wait a minute. You mean to tell me that all I have to do is just apply? And then if I don't get the job, I can ask, what do I need to work on, or what do I need to sharpen in my skill set in order to qualify? You mean to tell me that just by communicating and gaining the information, and then ultimately either gaining the education, the knowledge, the workplace values, that I can achieve that promotion that I was looking for? That is not some conspiracy that they're just out to get me, or that a black man can't succeed because X, Y, Z, and the fourth. You mean to tell me that the whole time it was all predicated off how bad I actually wanted it? Sometimes you get to a place to where you feel like it just couldn't be. It couldn't be that simple. You mean to tell me that all I had to do was spend $125 on the LLC, go and get a business license, and just walk out and just go ask people till I get that first yes, and then do great work, and then let that first yes turn into my second yes, and then the second yes, those turn into four yeses, and then you start to multiply before you actually become a full-fledged brand and a household name? You mean to tell me all I have to do is just be consistent about dropping videos, and ultimately I'll show up in the algorithm so people are going to find me and find my content? It's going to start building. The subscribers are going to come. And then before you know it, now I'm monetizing and earning money for something I was doing for free? You mean to tell me that that's it? That's the formula. Kind of like how we were talking about yesterday in the clubhouse. That's the secret. So you want to share, but mostly you have a tendency to overcompensate, because now that you've achieved something, you still want to feel a connection to where you come from. and
Ah,
and in wanting to feel a connection, you never want to feel, because we looked at the people who excelled beyond us that never reached back as sellouts. They got an opportunity and they just left. They never came back. They didn't look back.
so you think that saying yes, for the ease of understanding is I still got to let the block know I'm down
I mean, and for lack of better
type.
terminology,
Okay.
it's almost like that friend that always needs $100. They always need money.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
always need money. So you feel like you are doing that person a service by, when they need you, and there's this ingrained feeling of, because I can do it, therefore I should do it. Like I have this responsibility to bear the burdens of others. Like I remember there was a time to where somebody would ask for money, and it would probably be my last money, and I would give it to them because, well, I know my ability to regenerate
Mm-hmm.
that money. So, but I never ever looked at them and said to myself, well, dude, you got the same opportunities and the same hours that I have. So if I got to get up and go and hustle and go work two jobs and I got to beg, borrow, scratch, and do everything under the sun for that 5, 10, 15, $20, well, why don't you? I never held people to the same standard because I was always convinced that if I was succeeding, that somehow I was the outlier. It wasn't because I just got out and did more. But I didn't realize that because I was so busy giving, 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 I never reinvested. I never excelled beyond that point. And my usefulness, once the well ran dry, so did those relationships because you created this symbiotic relationship, this leech to host relationship with friends and family, the way your usefulness was predicated on the fact that you were more successful than them. So because you never put a space between your giving and those people, that now you have created a dependency between yourself and them to where now they know. Like for people who see me down here in Florida, they are under the impression they'll look at the background, look at the pictures and everything around. Oh, he must be doing well for himself. People who've never seen me own gold jewelry a day in my life, it's nothing at all. It's just some stuff. But for people seeing me how they once knew me, they'll see certain triggers or certain things and automatically assume that that means that I'm doing well for myself. And if you see that I say that I make, let's just throw that number out there. Okay, cool. I made 100K last year. Big whoop. I'm not the only person in the world made it. But for the first time I made it, somebody is thinking along the lines of, oh, he got it. You made 100K last year. I know you got money. Hey man, what's $100? What's $100? What's $50 when you making that kind of money? They don't understand the overtime that goes into that. They don't
Yeah.
understand the mental strain and everything that goes into that because they don't get out there and do it for themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that a lot of times when you have that given spirit, learning the difference between helping somebody and enabling somebody, you really have to learn the difference between offering help and enabling somebody. You can't pacify somebody into quality habits. They have
And
to make a decision for themselves to say, you know what? Today is the day I stop begging. Today is the day I'm going to get out here on my own. So I'm just going to
today is
figure
the day you stop giving because you do get this sensation, what I'm saying, in your body where you giving this money and you just feel like, what I'm saying, damn, what I'm saying, I already gave this man $50, already gave this man $100, already gave this chick $100. She coming back asking again. Now she gonna have to owe me 200. It's like you start to develop this thing in your mind where what I'm saying, like enough is enough.
you start
You know?
developing a disdain.
Yeah.
You start really thinking to yourself along the lines of, oh, people only they only deal with me because they use they're only around because they find something that they want from me. They're not here because they genuinely care about me or my well-being. They're
Yeah.
here because they care about what resources that I'm able to provide for them.
And
No
you
matter
said
how,
something.
go ahead.
Uh we got the same amount of hours. We got the same days. We got the same Sunday through Sunday. We got the same 24 hours. How am I able to utilize my time and my efforts to maximize what it is that I need to do to benefit me to the best potential that I can, and you can't do the same? Why do you always need to be carried? Why do you always gotta, man, I just gotta need this for a minute and then I'll throw it back? Like, well, why is that so relevant in your life? Why is there, if you know that what you're doing is not sustainable, even if it's a family business, like if what you're doing, if you're in a constant need of having to produce and create money to sustain yourself, you need to change what you're doing.
You know,
Period.
I want you to take this into consideration. What we oftentimes do is we create a symbiotic relationship with people, and we don't even realize that we're doing it. A lot of times what we'll end up doing is we'll create a situation with people to where we are literally making the bed for them to where we're making it okay for them to not do anything. We'll talk, we'll talk, and it gives us a sense of pride. I mean, dude, it's like, do you know how good it feels to be able to say, hey, I'll take care of your light bill this month. Enjoy yourself. It's a great feeling as a man. I feel good to be able to say that I can help somebody. When you transition from the point of needing the assistance to being able to give the assistance, man, it is such an intoxicating feeling. And the desire and need to be needed is another great feeling. I mean, you have to think about it. How many times have you employed people in 2022? How many jobs have you given?
Yeah.
You have to
Hmm.
understand something, that when you put yourself in a position where you are creating opportunities for people, that's one of the most gratifying feelings on the face of the planet. When something that started right here in your imagination that you dreamt of is now producing to the point to where you can provide an opportunity for someone else, that is one of the most gratifying feelings under the sun.
So how does that change the person that's in that constant state of need to change? Like how like what I was getting at is, if you know that Walmart isn't sustainable, why do you stay there knowing that it's not making your situation better? It's not producing the livelihood for you, or uh you don't push yourself to get a second or third, gig, to be able to put yourself in position to only to finding just that one, and or until your side hustle or whatever you got going on starts replacing your income that will free up your freedom, is what I'm saying.
Well, it's a couple of schools of thought, and it's not cut and dry. There are many different facets by which you could look at a situation like this. They do become complacent. You're right about that. Number one, people get stuck on how easy it is. I
Hmm.
don't want the challenge. I don't want to train myself to do something else. I like to come in and do something easy every day. And I want to make the maximum dollar amount that I can to do the least amount of work. You have to understand that certain jobs actually encourage you to go on welfare or to get the additional from some level of subsidy. Believe it or not, this is part of a subculture that's beyond your level of understanding, that you work someplace to make just enough to qualify for Section 8 and other things like that. Now, again, this isn't indicative of the whole, it's just one aspect of the stratosphere, but a lot of it is based
Hmm.
on complacency. A lot of it is also based on the fact that some people are convinced that they are victims, that they cannot do any better, that they should not try to do any better, because to try to do better will automatically put you in a situation to where you're going to have to face the big bad white man, the big bad glass ceiling. Because a lot of people have been infected early on in their lives with this concept that no matter what you do, there's somebody somewhere, there's some metaphorical being known as the white man, aka the boogeyman, or aka the whatever, that is going to stop you. They're going to do everything to try to stop you. They're gonna get in your way. You're gonna get arrested. You're gonna whatever the circumstances are. It's gonna be this thing, this enigma that's gonna prevent you from succeeding. And it's not just a black thing. It's a culture thing. It's this created mindset that won't allow you to see beyond what you've been told. Everybody around you is not succeeding. So therefore, the concept of you succeeding, you have to imagine, right? And it's like the one thing that I tell people a lot is we don't all have the same starting point. but we all have the same opportunities. So, for instance, let's just use a community college, Kennedy King. You graduate high school from Lane Tech, you graduate high school from whatever GED program. Everybody can apply to go to Kennedy King. Kennedy King is not saying, oh, because you went through the GED program or because you went to Lincoln Challenge or wherever, that you don't qualify to go to this college. Now, there's a mindset shift for people who came up in certain demographics to where you have never seen college students or you've never seen the fruit of what a college degree can bear. You've never had a standard in your household set to where mom did this professionally, dad did this professionally, uncles, aunts, grandpa, grandma. You've never seen that. So the cycle of poverty around you is so consistent and so embedded that it's a fight just to mentally pull yourself to walk into the door. So understand something. I'll use my own life as an example yet again. In 2008, I literally got out of my bed without showering or anything. And I got on the green line with some pajama pants, a wife beater, and nothing else. Had all of my hair back when I used to have some. And I said the first place that I'll land, because I had no idea what to do or where to go, what to do. I didn't even have a purpose of why to do. I got on the green line. There's Kennedy King sitting right there on 63rd and Halsted. And I got out and I walked in and I just asked questions. And before you knew it, I was a college student for the first time.
You just proved a statement that I used to say all the time, and you know what it is.
Go for it.
College is for everybody. Period. Period. There ain't no such thing as that ain't for me. Everything is for you. Everything is for you. If being a rocket scientist is a job available, that's for you. If being a firefighter is a job that's available, that's for you. If being a doctor is a job that's available, that's for you. Everything is for you.
You know, and it's interesting that you say that because of the fact that it took a while even after then. Like, let's look at it. Like, it's 2022. You're basically saying that after today is 2023, and I'm still fighting for the same goal. The difference is the fact that I understand the path, the mission, what it is that I'm going toward, and why it is I'm going toward. I disagree. I got somebody want to challenge that.
Okay.
Why
I'm
do you
fine with disagreements, but
why
why?
do you disagree? I absolutely love civil discord. So for those who are just now getting in here, we were talking about New Year's. We're having a conversation about how it's not New Year's. Get the New Year's mindset out that it's a new day. You make a decision, what you're going to change. That is an instantaneous change. It's not a when the clock strikes midnight thing. Those are excuses for reasons to not move and not motivate. We talked about when it's time to say no to helping people and to giving so much of yourself. So let's go ahead into this. Everybody is not mentally prepared for college or has the mental capacity. So, one thing I think that, and what I want to just kind of chime in on that though, and I'll let you take over, Miles, is that I think what he meant by that is the opportunity is available to anybody who wants it. It's not
Correct.
necessarily a matter of everybody is capable of doing it. I don't know if I'm capable of performing open heart surgery, but if I felt that I could do it and I was willing to put in the work, the opportunity is there.
Absolutely. And you know, you know, saying my apologies if it didn't sound like that, but that's what I was saying. If if you put your mind to doing something that you really want to do and the opportunity is there for you to do it, you can do it. That's what I'm saying. If you want to be the world's greatest chef, there are thousands of restaurants always looking for the finest chef. And if that's what you want to do, you can do that. That's what I was getting at. If you want to put the time in to educate yourself and to study hard and to make sure that you pass these exams and things of that nature when it comes to college, if that's what you really want to do, the opportunity is there. Just because you didn't go to Harvard, just because you didn't go to Yale, don't mean that you can't get into a classroom.
And that's one thing that really has to be understood is the fact that there are so many barriers, and that's why I was giving that example that you have to. Some of us have to come out of isolating ourselves away from friends and family who
Mhm.
have this lack mindset, who keep us suppressed, or who keep this cone of what you can't do, who you can't be. A lot of us have these people around us who all they think about is negative stuff. And it's like we feel it so bad inside of us that we literally have to excommunicate ourselves with people that we love to death just to put ourselves into a position where we can think straight, just to
Yes.
get to a place to where we can give ourselves a reason to do it.
Right, where you can mentally prepare yourself for college, where you can develop the mental capacity to do what it is you want to do. So, with that being said, I gotta fire back on that statement. It's your mindset.
It is, but again, it's like there's a part of it that I definitely want to look at, and some of us just are not ready. We're not
For
all at
sure.
this, we're not all there. So there are people who they went to prison, they got educations in prison, they came out and they became super successful with skills and trades they learned in jail or in
Yep.
prison, jail, whatever have you. There are some people that walk and how they ascended to the position that they're in, that they had to go through certain experiences to be able to receive certain aspects of what they have now. So their walk might not be the same, but the outcome is the same. That if you want it, you can achieve it. I
There
don't want
and
to say that you will achieve it, but if you want it, you can. If you are willing to put in the time and effort.
absolutely, like regardless of the walk, what I'm saying, all roads lead to the same destination. It doesn't matter what your walk is. Everybody's going to go through a different walk, but that doesn't change the fact that the opportunity for what it is you're trying to do will always and forever be there. Period.
You know, one thing that I looked at and it really started to play on me is that I thought about, and again, we closing out of a year, so I just think about it like, there's all of my homies that I lost this year, and not because they dead, I just stopped calling them. I got to a place to where I realized that there's been a lot of energy that I've been putting out, that I've been giving away for cheap to people that there was no reciprocity there. That you try to empower people, you try to give them everything that is that you have, everything that they say that they want, but ultimately you just find yourself on the giving end, find people on the receiving end, and nothing of value ever comes out of it. And that to me is one of those things to where I never want to experience the feeling of emptiness again that comes along with putting
Yes.
myself out there, making myself vulnerable to other people's plights, knowing that there's no value, that there's nothing coming out of it at the end of the day. And that's one thing that I would definitely encourage people, that let today be the day that you conserve your energy. You need to go into power save mode when it comes down to how you interact with other people. Your job is not to become a supplemental parent or a supplemental source of income. Your job is not to become somebody's legal aid or legal guardian. Those children are not yours. When that child is 18, your job is to mold and guide them, but they got to walk their own walk. You can't bail them out forever. There's just certain things that we have to understand that when we are doing what we're doing or we're given what it is that we're given in this lifetime, we have to make conscious decisions to say that today is the day that everything changes for me. Everything is predicated off of what your individual desire for change is. Could be a mild alteration. It could be a wardrobe change. You just want to feel good. You want to look good. It could be an energy change. It could be this is the day and age I'm going to educate myself. And I'm going to go to the highest capacity of learning that there is available for me. Whatever the circumstances may be, you are the determining factor in the moment. Not at midnight tonight, not when the ball drops in Times Square tonight. Right now, tomorrow, whenever you're officially ready, but don't play yourself. That's the number one thing that I want to get out there is don't play yourself. I don't have a New Year's resolution because what I'm doing has been in the making since 2020. It's been a continuous loop since 2020 and it has not stopped. It has not lost any energy. It just revs up. We just keep going. Once this is knocked down, we pick this up. Once this is finished, then we move on to this one. Some of these goals are 5, 10, 15 years in the making. But guess what? They don't stop. The energy is the same as it was from the day that I said, this is it. From the day I said, I'm going back to school and I'm going to finish this go round. I have done everything that I set out to do. And I'm encouraging people that it's not hard. It's not to say that you will not have setbacks, that you will not have emotional distress, that your counterpart will not send you through an emotional whirlwind during this time. It's not to say that your money ain't going to get funny, that you're not going to experience a whole myriad of nonsense. What it is saying is that along that who you are and what you are is predicated through the journey. You have to walk through the sand to see who you really are. If you're not walking through it, then you're just living in the idea of what you think you are. Who you are is determined during the walk, but the walk requires motion. That's what I'm saying today.
Well, okay.
Hey, I don't mean to be getting up here on the pulpit, but it's like it's energy. Like I got probably 5 hours of Roblox with my daughter today, man. Like I got a whole 14-year-old today. 14. God.
Yeah, happy birthday.
I've been doing
my niece is 14.
14 years old. Like you have to understand, man. It's like it's such an energetic day. And the more we do, the more we talk about, the more that we interact with people, the more we share our life experiences through this camera lens right here, the more exciting that it gets, because people have to understand that we are not isolated incidences. As men, we all are dealing with stuff. I don't know a single man that don't know what heartbreak feel like, that don't know what going broke feel like, that don't know what disappointing your family because of a decision that you made feel like, or being disappointed by people that you loved feel like. I don't know a single man that don't know what it feel like to come with nothing but be asking for love and be rejected. I don't know a single man that don't know what that feel like. All we doing is we just sharing our experience, just our thoughts. Just our thoughts.
Agree. No disagreement in that. That is very true. I don't know nobody, especially in my lifetime. I don't know nobody that has never dealt with that.
I mean, it's just the fact that at this day and age, what I am encouraging every man who is taking part in any of the things that we talk about what's going on. Talk about it. That's what we're here for. That's what the Extraordinary Men is all about. That's what we started this a year and change ago. Talk about your experiences. There's a bunch of men that's going through the same things that you're going through, that are dealing with some of the same circumstance that you're going through, be it women, be it finances, be it your credit, be it having access to different things that you need in order to elevate yourself. Whatever the circumstances may be, if you just need motivation, you just need positive people or mentorship or whatever the circumstances may be, you have to open your mouth. That pride that we have as men that have kept us intact through the years is also crippling us. And
Yeah.
we got to get out of the habit of believing that we are not worthy of certain things because we don't have access to it right now. I'm done talking. You go ahead. You
No,
got this.
I like to say that you know, saying a closed mouth don't get fed, and I think you know you hit the nail right on the head with you have to open your mouth. This pridefulness, this macho ness, whatever you want to add to that, that is what's gonna cripple you from trying to exceed and reach your opportunities and goals that you're trying to do because you're so prideful. You don't want to reach out for help, or you know what I'm saying, you don't want to reach out to push you and elevate you to move on to the next uh goal or next set of milestones or whatever that you need to hit in order to propel you. So pride is definitely a big one. uh and you touched on something else too, and I'm gonna wait for it to come back around in my mind. But I mean, what I want to know what, you know what I'm saying, Mr. Irving, you know, has to, you know, say about, you know, that whole conversation that we had around that, and you know what he still thinks around that. Is he thinking differently? Is he still, you know, in the same mental capacity? Was we able to get him to see things from a different light? Then I would like to hear a response back on that convo from Mr. Dillon.
Well,
uh
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reach out to him, and maybe one day we can actually get him up here, and we can have an open dialogue, just to have a conversation about these things. That I definitely think that these concepts are recurring concepts that should be spoken about often, because it's not a monolithic situation. It's not a one-off. Like, these are things that
yeah,
a lot of us do have to take into consideration. That it's like
that
it's not
mental
up to
state,
me.
that mental state is definitely prominent in our culture. You know, I'm not ready yet. I'm not. Oh, that's what it was. I'm not ready. And I treat it all the same as, you know, having a child. You know, I got four now. So no matter how much you prepare the crib, the safety things to block all the outlets, and no matter how much you prepare, you are still never prepared. The only way that you get prepared is to do it. You know, you're never gonna get prepared for college because you don't know what is gonna be involved in that. You don't know exactly the lessons that you're gonna learn, the formulas that they're gonna teach you. You're never gonna know that until you get in it. So I don't think that we're ever really completely fully prepared for anything. You know, totally different when you're talking about, you know, you're trying to prepare dinner. Okay, I got my chicken, I got my peppers, I got my thyme, I got whatever. Totally different. But when it comes to, you know, real uh propelling situations that's going to push you, you're not always going to be prepared. You're always going to be nervous, especially when you're learning something new, doing something new, you're adding a new skill set, you're trying to pick up a new talent, things of that nature, and then try to utilize that to elevate you and bring in profits or whatever it does or needs to do for your life. You're never really going to be fully prepared. You just got to do it.
Yeah. And with that being said, this just further it just further shows that when you have your mindset, and that's one of the main things I think that makes us, that separates us from others, is that we have the ability to change our mind, and we have the opportunity to see the end result of something before it happens. We can visualize what the end result of something is, and then we go walk into that thing and start chipping it away. When
Hmm.
the first house or the first shelter came into play, somebody had to visualize, like, hey man, it's rain, it's sun, whatever was going on inside of their head that made them feel that creating shelter for the first group of men that came up with that concept of creating shelter, creating home, creating a, what were they blocking themselves from? Was it the sun? Was it the elements? Was it the mosquitoes? What were they trying to protect themselves from? Whatever it was, the visualization of creating that shelter to block that thing from coming in led to the creation of the first home or first shelter or first whatever have you. And we have continued to advance on that same concept over and over and over again over time to where we perfected what we build homes from, where we build homes, what type of land that we can build them over, what's the most stable ground where you can add basements and attics and where you have all just the whole nine. So we have to take into consideration that the initial walk has to be made in order for any innovation to happen. You have to understand that before you can change yourself, you have to change your mind. When you change your mind, you have to walk into that change. Anyway, happy New Year's to everybody that is tuned in, that will tune in. I'll see you guys in 2023. Midas, you got any closeout words you want to throw in here?
Yeah, so for 2023, this is what we're going to do. We're not doing resolutions. This is a to-do list. One, we're going to continue to learn and grow ourselves and develop our mental state and our skill sets. Two, we're going to say no. No will now be a elevated word in our vocabulary. No. We're not going to give away our energy. So with that being said, the number three thing that we're going to do in 2023 is we're going to protect our sanity, period, at all costs. We're going to protect our energy, we're going to protect our sanity, and we're going to that could be number four, is we're going to look out for these red flags. And this is more of a relationship tip. We're going to pay attention to the red flags, and we're going to act on these red flags. We're not going to get stuck in these mental draining, resource draining, heart draining situations. We're going to act upon these red flags, and we're going to get out, because we're going to go back to number three. We're going to protect our sanity, and we're going to protect our energy. So those are the four things that I got.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's our time for today. We thank you for tuning in with us. Enjoy your families, enjoy your friends, enjoy your festivities. Stay safe out there. Make sure that if you feel that it's wrong, it's wrong. Get out of there. That's my advice for tonight. Anyway, guys, love y'all. Thank you guys, and I'll see you guys on the other side. Peace.